Good morning, ghosts. My name is Laura. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to show you how to fold 3 Christmas-themed origami forms. Okay, so the first model we're going to fold is this little origami box. It has been made out of a recycled Christmas card. It's a great way to use up old Christmas cards at the end of the year. You can actually do like birthday cards, cute little ring box or little trinket box. So I have this old Christmas card, and first thing we're going to do is cut it in half along the spine. And you have to be careful to keep it straight. Sometimes if you go a little wonky, the edges of your box will be wonky. Just snip along the spine, and bingo, you now have 2 pieces. You're going to take your first piece and flip it over. You're going to fold the corner to the point edge, that edge against this other edge. The idea is to fold it diagonally. We're going to try to make this into a square. So the cardstock is a little tough to work with sometimes because it's stiff. See, once you get in your diagonal, you just press that crease flat. And then you're going to take some scissors and you are going to cut off this little extra edge. This is actually a really handy way to make any paper square for the use of folding origami. Alright, so now we have a square with our cute little image of our mouse. You're going to take the back piece and you are going to fold it the same way, the corner to the edge, that edge to that edge, along the diagonal, and once you're sure it is aligned, then you can press that crease flat. And then take your scissors and cut off the little flappy. Alright, so once the flap is cut, for the bottom piece, we're going to fold it one more time, that corner to that corner along the long edge. And we are going to do a little bit more cutting because we want the bottom piece to be smaller than the top piece so that they can fit together. So usually once I get it like that, bump the camera, I am going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut about maybe about 1/4 to 1/2 inch off the edge. How much I cut kind of depends, I guess, on the size of the card I'm working with, but I find that about 1/4 inch works. Try to keep it as straight as you can. It might not be perfect, but just do your best. Alright, so as you can see, this piece is now smaller than our top piece, which is good. Alright, you're going to take your top piece, you're going to flip it over. You're going to fold diagonally, corner to corner, opposite of the crease that already exists, and try to align it as best you can. The key to good origami is precision of your folds and trying to keep everything lined up accurately. It is a little hard with cardstock. Alright, unfold that. You're now going to fold the corner to the center of the X on all 4 corners. So once you get your corner, make sure you press that crease flat, and then you're going to just do the same thing on all sides. And sometimes with these Christmas cards, if you're using old ones, you'll find that sometimes the cardstock, like the coating, will pop a little bit and break. It's fine, because that usually doesn't impact the overall quality of the fold with the cardstock. Anyway, so once you get your 4 corners folded in, you're then going to fold the edge to the center and press that flat. Then you're going to do the same thing on this other side. And then you're going to turn it, and you're going to do it on the other two sides as well. Alright, so once you have all four sides having been folded in, your next goal is you're going to try folding both sides in at the same time and push that point on the inside, and you're going to pinch it so that it actually folds along on the inside. This is called a rabbit ear fold, and you're going to see how it kind of comes in. It folds pretty easily along that in the middle of that corner because of our pre-creasing we've done. So you're just going to go around all four sides and pinch it together. I like to do this because it helps reinforce the folds that I've already made. Alright, so you're going to take the centerpiece and you're going to pull it up, straight up. You're going to push it in along the creases that we made. So you're going to push it in on both sides, and then you're going to fold that flap you pulled up over the top and press it down in the center. And you'll notice that this actually pops right into place for the most part. So you're going to do that on the exact opposite side. You're only going to do this on two sides instead of four sides. Alright, you're going to fold that in. Boom. Try to press it in. Sometimes the stiffer cardstock doesn't like to stay in place as well. It just needs a good pinch. Alright, so we have it. We have our completed Christmas card mouse box lid. Alright, moving on to the bottom. Alright, so you take your bottom piece, and it's actually, you just fold it the exact same way. So one more time, you're going to put your corners to the center of the X. All four of them. You know, this is a good time to reflect on whoever may have sent you the card, or not. I will say that there are certain cards that work better for this than others. Lighter weight cards are much easier to fold. Glossy finish cards are pretty easy to fold. Glittery cards, not so great for folding. Well, sometimes the glitters are really thick, and when you fold it, it just breaks off and gets everywhere. I've had somebody gave me some plastic cards once, and I tried folding those, and that didn't turn out very well either. But anyway, it is kind of fun because you can make a variety of these little boxes with all of the different types of cards you can get. I like to put origami earrings and jewelry and stuff in them. Anyway, so this is, I'm going to reiterate this part because I feel like this is kind of like, this last step is the harder to see what's going on step. So you're going to bring your edges together, rabbit ear, kind of pinch them together, and then once you've done that, you are going to pull up a flap, push it in on both sides, fold the flap back, right back down. Boom. And then you're going to do the same thing on this other side. I guess it's probably not as complicated. But honestly, I have a hard time telling what is complicated with origami and what is not complicated with origami as far as like beginner stuff, because I've been doing this since I was a child. Anyway, so now you have your bottom box and you have your top box, and they just boop, pop right back together. There you have it. Little origami box. Put a trinket in there, put a nickel in there. You can fold up money and stick it in there. Kind of a cute little gift thing. You can even put a ribbon on it and hang it from a Christmas tree. So there you have it. An origami box made from a Christmas card. Alright, so the next thing we're going to make is this cute little Christmas star. This can actually, you know, have a string attached to it and hung to the Christmas tree. Super easy. Alright, so the first thing we have to do is actually turn this into a 5-sided piece of paper. So how we're going to do is we're going to fold it in half. And make sure your corners are good and line, and you're going to crease it. Alright, so you're gonna flip it over so that the folded edge is to your left. You're gonna fold the edge to the edge, the top to the edge, and you aren't going to actually fully crease this. You're just going to make a little teeny crease directly in the center of that. Alright, so you're going to take the other corner and you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to fold the top to the edge and you're going to make a teeny crease right smack dab. And what you're doing is you're creating a teeny little X in the middle of the paper. That's a mark point. So you're going to take the folded edge, or the edge of the folded corner, you're going to make that corner meet the X, corner to the X, and you're going to make a crease. Then you're going to take this side here and you're going to fold it down to meet the bottom side. And you'll end up with like this cute little triangle here. Make sure to crease that. Then you're going to take this edge here and you're going to meet it alongside this other edge and crease it. Alright, so your form should look a lot like this right now. If it doesn't look like this, then it's wrong. Alright, so you're going to make that edge meet this edge, and you're going to fold it up here, and you're going to crease it. Alright, so flip it over, you're going to cut right along that line. Snip, snip. Alright, and when you unfold it, ta-da! You have a 5-sided piece of paper. Pretty darn nifty, right? Okay, so now that you have your 5-sided piece of paper, the next step is to take the edge, the bottom edge, and that line in the middle, you want it to kind of meet directly in the center of where this other line is. You're going to fold it up, and you're going to crease it. And then you're going to do the exact same thing. So meet your center line should meet the other center line, and they should all kind of converge in the center point on the paper. And you're just going to go around. This is pre-creasing. It's very common in origami to pre-crease because it makes your folds fall into place a lot easier. Sometimes there are origami people who will do every single crease in a form before even attempting to fold it. But those are for like some super complex forms. Alright, so the next thing you're going to do is you're going to fold 2 of those edges in together. And you'll notice that like this point here, it stands up when you try to flatten that. That's a rabbit ear fold. That's what we want. So you're going to just kind of press it down to one side, kind of give it a good crease, and then you're going to flip it to the other side and crease it that way too. And you're going to do this for all 5 sides. So fold up your already pre-creased areas, get your rabbit ear flattened, and if it kind of, you might have to pinch the crease on the edge a little bit more if it doesn't want to do what you want, but you just kind of go around. The nice thing about origami is it's often very repetitive, so it's once you get like one part down, it's a lot easier to kind of move on to the next. And there we have it. One more rabbit ear after this, I believe. And you want your colored side, like if you're using a white and colored piece of origami paper, you want your colored side to be inside. I suppose I should have established that before. Alright, so once you have all that done, you're now going to fold all edges in, and you'll end up with all these cute little, rabbit ears kind of popping up while you're doing it, as you can see. And you're just going to flatten those all to the right, and you end up with this pinwheel. So once again, we're just folding the edges in like we did, and then we're just flattening our rabbit ears all to the right. Alright, so now comes the hard part. You're going to flip it over. You're going to pinch it in at that one place. as you can see, you're going to push it in, and you're going to kind of gather it like pleats. So once you bring that together, and then you can bring in the next one, and you'll notice you're kind of forming little little kind of feet here. These are your star legs. And this last one, you just push it in the center. So you'll have 3 on one side and 2 on the other because, you know, stars are uneven like that. Should look like this. Okay, so once your form looks like this, you're going to flip it so it looks like a little boat. And then you're going to fold. There's a point where they'll kind of meet here. You're going to go from where this point meets, and you're going to fold it. On the other end of that fold should be at the corner. So you're going to fold up this little flap here so that it's from the point that it meets to the corner. And we're just making the little star legs a little bit smaller by doing this. You want to do it on the flaps that are to your right side. You can just move it over while you go to the next one. And repeat. This is what's called a valley fold. Origami has all these like fun terms that, you know, when you start doing it, somebody can give you verbal directions on how to do something, and you'd be like, oh yeah. But I'm not going to give you too much technical stuff because it's boring if you're not super into it. Anyway, alright, so you got 3 flaps on this side. You're just going to flip it over and do the same thing to this other side. So what you end up with is more triangular and less boat-like when you're done. Just flip. Alright. Now, alright, so you have your cute little triangle of star feet. This is what it looks like from the bottom. This is what it looks like from the top. Alright, the next step is also the hard part. So you're going to fold this edge here to meet this other edge here, and this edge to meet here. Now, the hard part about this is that this center does not like to fold flat. So as you make this fold, you'll notice that it will end up pulling the feet of the star together, which is fine. Let it do that. It'll just close the legs together when you push it at that crease point. So you're going to push it in the center, and it will just close up the model, which is fine because we're just going to move on to the next feet. So you just do it all the way around. So edge to edge. The thing you have to really be careful about when you're doing this step is that you do not want to tear the paper at this middle point. It's super easy to do if you try to force the star's little legs apart while also pushing down at that place. Especially pre-creased fabric, or not fabric, paper tears a lot easier than non-creased paper because you've created a weakness in the fibers. So you just have to be gentle. Your type of paper and quality of paper can also affect it. Cheap origami paper tends to tear a lot easier because the paper fibers are shorter, so they tear a lot easier. This is pretty cheap origami paper I'm using. I didn't think it was until I bought it, and then I was like, what the heck is this? So anyway, continuing to fold. Alright, so your star form should look a lot like this now. And as you can see, it's not going to lay flat at all. Alright, so the next step is you're going to grab opposite legs of your little star, and you're going to very gently kind of pull apart while kind of making a rocking motion. Now don't yank it or you will rip the star. Just very gently work that centerpiece open. As you do this, air will enter through that little space at the bottom and kind of like fill up that centerpiece. And you just very gently, and you can work your way around until that centerpiece is kind of the way you want it to be. It won't be perfect till we finish it because we can make some better adjustments once we get the rest of the model together. All right, so once it's mostly open, the next step is to kind of open up the outside part. So you're going to put your fingers in these little spaces under these flaps, and you're going to pinch it together on either side of that. So you're going to stick your fingers in, your fingers will open up the space, and then once you pinch it together, it will kind of create this cute little space right there. All right, so you just do that all the way around. I always think of it, it's kind of like those old like cootie catchers where you would stick your fingers in the little holes, and you know, on the schoolyard where you would tell people's fortune. I guess people call them cootie catchers and people call them like fortune tellers. But you just stick your finger in, open it up all the way around. Alright, once you've got them all kind of where you want, you can actually grab the legs on the underside and pull the star open a little bit more if you want it to be a little wider, so you can open it up a little bit. It's a little bit easier to do it at this point a little bit further just because you don't have the scrawny little legs, and you can work from a more secure base. Alright, so there you have it, a Christmas star. You can put a string on this and hang it on your tree. So, ta-da! Alright, so our next project is going to be an origami Christmas ornament. So the first thing you do is you're going to take this paper and fold it on the diagonal and into this cute little triangle. Should look like this. You are going to open it up and do it in the exact same opposite direction. This should create a crease in the shape of an X. You're going to fold the paper in half, like bottom to top. And this is all pre-creasing. Makes life easy. Super standard. Alright, then you're going to do it again the opposite direction. So when you're done with this, you should have 8 pre-creases all across the entire piece of paper. Alright, so the next start is we're going to fold this in on ourselves. So you're going to fold it in half and you're going to fold it along this diagonal crease right here. And you're going to fold it. This is a valley fold. Crease it along there, and then you're going to flatten it along those other creases like that. It should look like this. You're now going to fold this point into the center just like the other one. Sometimes it's easier said than done if the paper is fighting you, but there you go. You just flatten the model. And now you have a square. So you take this corner and it's the edge to the edge. Make sure you're folding with the open side down. You're kind of like closing up the model this way. You're just going to fold these flaps on all 4 sides. Great. And this side to this side. You just want to line it up to the center line as best you can. Alright, so once you get all this done, it should look like a kite. And then you're going to unfold your kite. Alright, so the next step is you are going to open your model, kind of. You're going to open this top flap, and you are going to fold on the pre-creases you made, fold them in side like that, and do the top as well. You can flatten this up. This is actually called a bird base when you do it on both sides, which is exactly what we're doing. We are making an origami bird base. This is actually the first steps to making an origami crane, for those who have never folded an origami crane. Alright, so you're going to do the same side on this side. Alright, so once you get this all done, and flatten it out. Alright. Should look a lot like this. You can fold it back down, I think. Alright, so your model looks like this. And the next step is going to be to create some creases so that when we fold our ornament, it looks like a diamond. So how we're going to do this is we are going to pinch the low, nope, sorry. I just had a brain fart on how to do this. Alright, you're going to fold your flaps back up, and you're going to fold this edge along the middle there. So you're going to fold it down to one side. There we go. I remember now. You're going to open that up, and you're going to fold it down to the other side. Can't believe I forgot how to do this. Briefly, though. I remembered and recovered. Alright, so you're going to open that up, fold it back down. Flip your model over. Lift up the little flappy leg. Fold to one side, and you're just meeting that edge towards that middle crease at the top of the little legs there. And down to the other way. And all four sides. Yep. Okay. So what you should see is that you're creating this interesting little triangle on the flaps when you do this. This will help us get that fun diamond shape. I've discovered that this model is actually a lot easier to fold smaller than it is to fold larger. I like to use it to make jewelry, and so I'm normally working with like inch by inch pieces of paper. This as a larger piece, I think, is going to be a little bit more difficult. But that's fine. I'm using a larger piece so that it's easier to show what I'm doing. I feel like if I was using a smaller piece, it would just be my big fat fingers in the way. Alright, so once that's all done, you're going to grab it from the bottom. You're going to kind of pull it open. In the middle, you'll see that this figure is opening up. As it opens up, you're going to want to try to get your outside pieces to pop out, and you see how it's kind of like folding around that triangle that we just folded. Essentially, we want those to pop out. So you can use your fingers to open it up and pop that part out a little bit, and then pinch together the little legs to create, we're trying to create this diamond shape here. Now, this ornament is not the type where we can lock it together using cool origami means. We actually use glue. You can use tape if you want to not fuss with the glue. Hot glue would be a good way to do it instantly. I have tacky glue because it is what I had on hand. And so you can put glue on there, put it on either side if you want. Yeah, I had tacky glue on hand, and so I chose to use it. And swiftly regretting not using an instantly bonding glue. Alright, so you just kind of pinch those edges together, and then now is a good time to show you the inside, because I only have the two. So you're just gluing the little flaps on the inside together. You don't even have to like glue it along the full length. You can also, if you're super creative, you can use string and sew it through each, the top of each flap and bring it together. But yeah, it should kind of look like that. Now is also a good time to take like a ribbon. I have a ribbon with a little knot put in it, and I'm going to glue it on the inside of this. Put the knot on the inside just so it holds a little bit better. I'm discovering that tacky glue does not dry quickly. Rubber cement would probably be a better choice even than tacky glue. The things we learn. All right, so you're just going to keep going along all 4 flaps. And pinch it together. You have to be very careful not to crush this model too. But when it's done, like, it can look really, really cool. I've seen it done with like translucent papers even, and you could even put like a little LED light in there if you're feeling like super fancy. Just nothing obviously that gets hot, because if you put like a hot light inside of paper, you will start your house on fire. So you don't want to do that. All right, so pinch it all together. Oh gosh. All right. So that piece wasn't exactly the way I wanted it to be. All right, so this is kind of what it looks like finished wise. If you've got areas you want to be held together a little bit better, you can glue them. Sorry, my cat was in my way. All right, so my cat really likes origami. He likes to eat all my models. All right, so there is your finished ornament. You can hold it together for a little bit till it kind of dries. If you're using a better glue than I used, it won't take long at all. You can also use tape if you don't really feel like using glue. There you have it. You can hang it on the tree. You can put beads in it. Sometimes I like to run a ribbon all the way from the bottom to the top with like little beads on the bottom. And there you have it. Ta-da! An ornament that you hang from your tree.
Thank you for joining in and participating in our Christmas event. And I hope you have a wonderful and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And thank you to Faderhead and everybody at Ghost City.